Chapter 18. Sunday, March 18th. Money saved, $176.01. I dreamed I was trapped in a cage at the pet store, surrounded by other dogs. Thumper was there. So was Marta. I was tired and hungry, and my feet hurt. But when the pet store people came into the room, they weren't people at all. They were enormous pink cats standing on two legs, like people in cat suits. I yelled for them to let me out because I wasn't a dog, but a kid. But the cats ignored me because they were having a giant cat party. They batted around huge balls of yarn and played pin the tail on the sardine. There was a disco ball, too. It wasn't quite a nightmare, but it was close enough that when I woke up, I was shaking. But it gave me a great idea. I called Malcolm immediately. I think I woke him up. "What? You woke me up," he complained. His voice croaked. I told him all about my dream. "What do you think?" "I think it's 6 o'clock in the morning," he mumbled. "Actually, it's 5:58. I haven't thought to look at the time before I called. "Sorry, but what if I threw a party?" Silence. "Hello? Malcolm, hello?" After a moment, Malcolm spoke again. "What?" I fell asleep. "Did you say a party? A party for what? A surprise party?" He mumbled. Malcolm's mom threw a surprise party for his dad last year. Everyone hid. When his dad came home, we all jumped out and screamed. Malcolm's father stepped backward, twisted his ankle, and knocked his head on a lamp. He spent the night in the hospital. Mom said Malcolm's mom would never throw a surprise party again for the rest of her natural-born life. "No, not a surprise party," I said. Malcolm exhaled. I think he was relieved. "Like an open house, so people can meet me and see how great I am with dogs, and I'll get all sorts of business." "What does that have to do with your dream about cats playing with yarn?" asked Malcolm. "Forget about the yarn part. The cats were having a party with games and food. I could do the same thing." After a short pause, Malcolm said, "But are you sure you could throw one? I mean, what would the dogs do?" "They're dogs. How hard can it be? Besides, I'm going to throw the dog party to end all dog parties. We'll have a dog treats and dog games. Dogs can make friends. Owners can mingle and talk about how wonderful my dog walking services are. I can even charge money." "You can't charge money for a party." "Sure I can. Last year I went to a block party. It was free, but they asked for donations. Mom gave a few dollars. People always toss money into jars or they feel guilty." I thought about my runaway dogs and other problems. I was quite an expert at feeling guilt. Plus, guilt is a great way to earn money. "I'll put a jar out with a donation sign on it. I'll drum up business and make a killing all in the same day. And I guarantee people are going to be talking about Otto's dog party for years." Malcolm laughed. "I have to admit, the idea isn't terrible." "I know, right? We'll throw the party this afternoon. You buy the dog treats and toys. You call our customers. You put up some signs. Let's go." I pumped my fist. "We're on." "And what will you be doing?" Malcolm asked coolly. "Resting. I'm the one that has to smile and play with the dogs. That's very strenuous work. And it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I should really go back to sleep." "You woke me up," Malcolm said. "And how is smiling and playing such strenuous work?" "I would tell you, but it would be too exhausting." I lay back on my bed and let out an audible yawn. "I have a better idea. You buy the treats, you call the customers, you put up the signs. I can't help. I'm going clothes shopping with my mom today." I scoffed. "What's more important, your wearing clothes or my throwing a dog party?" He needed to adjust his priorities. "The most important thing is me not getting into trouble, and I'll get in trouble if I tell my mom I'm not going shopping with her. I need to get a suit for my Aunt Jewel's wedding." "Isn't she the one that's been married 6 times? 7. You'd think you should skip a few. You'd think you could skip a few." Malcolm's Aunt Jewel kept getting married over and over again. If you ask me, she did it for the wedding presents. It seems like half the stuff we have at home, Mom got as wedding presents, and she was married only once. After getting married 7 times, Aunt Jewel must be a millionaire. If I got married, I'd get way over $500. Of course, that meant actually talking to a girl other than my sister, so I scratched that plan quickly. It's a lot of work having a party, and I had all sorts of things I needed to do. I called my customers and invited them. I think I woke a bunch of them up, even though I waited until after 6:30 before I called. A few grumbled and one hung up. But I told everyone to invite their friends with dogs, and suggested they tell their friends with dogs to call their friends with dogs. Maybe eventually everyone in the world with dogs would show up. Although I didn't think we could fit all those people in my front yard. I promised treats, games, and the chance for their dogs to make new friends. Everyone would have the best time ever. Hire me to walk their dogs, and I'd become a dog walking zillionaire. Mom had bought some new printer toner. At first she was mad I used it all up last time, but then I showed her my notebook and told her I would pay her back as soon as the challenge was over. I told her I would even pay her back for her notepad, pencils, and more. I think she was impressed by how responsible I was being. So I made some flyers and printed them. They were amazing. It's Dog Meet Dog! You and your canine are invited to a dog party. Dogs treats, games, guaranteed fun. Party starts at 2:00 p.m. Sponsored by the You Oughta Call Auto Dog Walking Service. Donations are welcome, preferably $5, but really it's up to you, but don't be cheap. I printed 24 flyers and put them all over the block. Then I walked to the pet store for supplies. It opened at 10 o'clock, so I had to wait until the doors opened. But as soon as they slid apart, I ran into the store. I figured I had a few extra minutes so I could play with Thumper. But he was napping and I didn't want to wake him. Dogs, like people, must sleep on Sundays. There was one more cage that was empty, though. Thumper's sister, Marta, was gone. Probably adopted. If you jump around and bark, you get noticed, but if you're quiet, you get left behind. Lexi raised her hand in class and volunteered for things, so teachers loved her, while quiet Otto napping in the back of the class got overlooked. I guess that's not always bad, especially when you don't know the answers, but it was the point of the thing that mattered. Be yourself, I whispered to Thumper, although he couldn't hear me through the pane of glass and because he was asleep. And be glad that you don't have to put up with your annoying sister anymore. I ended up buying 2 bags of dog food and some dog toys for the party. A rubber duck, 2 fake bones, a frisbee, and a little screaming monkey named Mr. Chatterbox. I hoped it was enough. I loved everything I got, except for maybe that screaming monkey. Frankly, Mr. Chatterbox sort of freaked me out. You squeezed his stomach and he went eep, really, really loud. When I first pressed him, I must have jumped 2 feet in the air. I didn't really understand how a dog was supposed to play with a screaming monkey. But those dog toy people must know what they're doing because they have college degrees in dog toy making. Besides, this wasn't a party for me. It was a party for dogs. I hoped they'd think Mr. Chatterbox was a riot. Walking 10 pounds of dog food home from downtown is not easy. I should have brought the red wagon. I stopped to rest a million times and almost gave up. It took nearly an hour to get home, but you can't say you'll have dog food and not serve dog food. That would be like having a surprise party and not yelling surprise. Except that would be a great way to avoid a concussion. Once I was back at home, I still had a lot to do if this was going to be the best dog party ever. I had to bring up our folding tables from the basement. We didn't have dog bowls, so I filled some of our nice soup bowls with water and some dog treats. Mom was at work, but she wouldn't have cared, maybe. I also made popcorn, since you can't have a party without popcorn. I scattered the toys around the front lawn, although I wish I had bought more. 5 dog toys for an entire party didn't seem like enough, especially if I got a few hundred dogs. I figured every party in the neighborhood would come. I figured every dog in the neighborhood would come. Who doesn't love a party? I made small business cards with my name and phone number, printed them, and then cut them out with scissors. But most important, I put a giant bowl on a table and a sign that read, "Donations welcome, $5 recommended." I threw in a few dollars so the bowl didn't look so empty, and to encourage guests. People never want to be the first ones to throw money into a bowl. My giant donations container used to hold fish, but they all died a few years ago. Fish bowls get dirty. Eventually, streaks of green algae lined the sides of my bowl, and you could barely see the fish inside. Dad had to empty the water, so he put all the fish in a bucket. But he didn't clean the bucket first, and it had kitchen cleaner in it from the last time Mom mopped, and the fish died in like 10 seconds. Lexi bawled for a week, even though they were just fish, and she never even looked at them ever. Fish don't do a whole lot. I paced nervously in the front of the yard. Where were all the dogs? It was already 2:01, and no one was at my party yet. This was a disaster.